Hi, I am Peter Clark, and I have one tattoo. A friend of mine has a great way of talking about it. It's like, tattoo represents how you are at a certain point in your life. So I like that idea of a permanently saved memory on your body.
It's the international symbol for adoption, and it also has my adoption day in it, so.
Why do you do this shirt?
Because they're badass and just because.
I'm Dustin Wallace, and I think it's just cool. You know, I think it's okay that tattoos don't have deep meanings. Really, you can just get a tattoo because it's something cool. But I mean, if it has more meaning, more power to you. But to each his own.
My name is Ralph Corona. I've been working here for about 4.5 years now.
So what drew you into tattooing?
I always liked tattoos, like from the time I was a kid. I used to draw on myself, and I always wanted tattoos. And I started doing stick and poke, and that led to getting a machine, and yeah, I've just been into it ever since. I love the culture, I love the art.
Yeah, the culture is super cool.
Mhm.
And why do you like tattoos?
Why do I like tattoos?
Yeah.
I like doing tattoos because it's like a way of continuing my art on a different canvas, making wood or drawing or whatever you can kind of put the idea down. Skin is another way for everybody to keep getting art, Everybody's not trying to buy paintings, but everybody loves tattooing.
Are those yours too?
These are mine, yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Have you ever tattooed something like that on a person?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah, all the time.
Is this like your style, or what's your favorite style to?
It is. I like to do a lot of bright color, new school kind of designs. I feel like if you can get the contrast right, it always looks great on skin, Just because I like to mess with the whole spectrum of colors too. I don't like to limit myself to just a few. So new school always comes out naturally.
It's pretty cool.
I love doing traditional tattoos. It works for me the best because my skill level, it's at a certain point and it's just never going to get higher. If you're an incredible artist, it's natural in you. I'm like a good artist. And traditional tattoos are very simple line work. It's like thicker lines. It's a lot, there's not a lot of detail. And it's bold and really colorful. I love doing the color shading. It's just like a very basic but very beautiful traditional style of tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's my favorite style.
Mm-hmm.
What's your personal favorite tattoo that you have?
On me,
Mm-hmm.
I really like this one. This
Yeah?
one's not too bad.
Did you do that one?
No, artist that I met in Philadelphia did this for me a couple of years ago. We had it done at an expo in Chicago here in March a couple of years back. So pretty cool guy, very knowledgeable. So it was fun getting that piece done.
What's your favorite tattoo that you have?
Oh, that's so hard. I have a lot. This is probably a couple here. This tattoo is a matching tattoo that I have with my girlfriend. This one my friend did, hand poked. So that's very meaningful to me. My X-Files tattoos, because I love X-Files so much, so this was my first X-Files tattoo. So those are probably they're just very plain, they're nothing special, but I like them probably the most.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Do you see a lot of different people here, or is there like a general culture?
I do. People from everywhere, especially because you're in downtown, you have all the hotels and stuff. You get people from all over the world coming to visit. So you get plenty of tourists, then you get the college kids, and you get your locals. So it's awesome. Definitely meet a lot of people here.
So what kind of people usually come to you, and do you think your experience draws a different type of person than who would go to shops?
Yes. Like all my clients are queer or trans. Every single person. The only time that I had people that were not queer or trans, I had bad experiences with them. So I stick to only tattooing queer people. Queer people in general, I feel like, are just more open, are nicer, more respectful, have better politics, which makes for better conversation. It's not fun tattooing someone that's like saying racist stuff or being misogynistic, you know. That's awful. So I stick with queer and trans people, and I've had people that come in that would never feel comfortable going to a shop because of their body, because of their gender identity, or because of like the content of their tattoo is maybe has something to do with their identity, and then just not wanting to go into a shop full of bros and not feeling comfortable with that.
Oh, yeah. What do people usually get when they come through here, or any from your whole experience that you usually get?
People bring a lot of their own designs now, whether it's just an idea or something that they found on the web. Nobody's really coming to do like the traditional tattooing where it's like you come to pick a design off the wall. So everybody's kind of accustomed to bringing their own stuff now.
Do you prefer doing other people's stuff?
I like doing their ideas because ultimately it's my design at the end of the day. But they like to come in and just throw an idea that's usually kind of crazy and kind of new, and it's always fun to draw that. You know, gets less repetitive.
And do you like working in a studio? Is this a bigger studio? I don't know. I've never been in one before. So.
They come in different sizes, but this is a little bit bigger. Yeah, I do. It's great because, like I said, we have it all set up for paintings and drawings and tattooing over there, so it's never have a dull moment when you can constantly put your hands into everything, you know, like charcoal, and we have plenty of space to do it all, so it's always fun to do it.
Do you think tattoo culture has changed from the time that you first got into it to today?
I don't really know because I'm not part of like the shop culture. So all I know is just kind of like what it's like to know other like heavily tattooed people. Yeah, so I'm not really like that familiar with the culture of like being in shops or going to conventions and things like that.
Yeah. What do you think is like the biggest difference between like shop and like what you're doing? And also like how do you feel about shop culture? Like is it let's get into it.
Well, I don't like shop culture. There's a lot of toxic masculinity in shop culture. Every man that I've ever gone to has just been like mostly pretty flat, not really friendly, doesn't really seem to be into it, is just very macho. You don't find a lot of female tattoo artists. There's just this very bro-y like vibe in pretty much every shop. I think that happens anytime you get a gathering of men.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not into it. To me, you know, when you're paying for a tattoo, you're paying for the experience, not just for the art. And what I like to tell people is like, you know, what I have to offer is more experience than art. Like I'm a good tattoo artist, but I probably will never be good enough to work in a shop. I'm fine with that. But what I offer is the experience of one-on-one, quiet with all my animals, listening to the music that you want to, getting comfortable on the couch, and just being like relaxed and doing things on your own terms, which is not what you get in a shop.
Since you've started, do you feel like the tattoo culture has changed, or what do you think the tattoo culture is like to you?
Oh, it's absolutely changed. It's before, like I said, before it was more like you go in, you pick up all the designs off the wall, you know, and now it's you know, thanks to all the social media, all the artists, you know, kind of come together and are exposed, and so everybody wants something original, you know, and so that's changed a lot. You know, you're stuck in the 70s and 80s where you're depending on old artwork from past masters. You'll get stuck there, and it's a very small group of people that want to get those type of tattoos. So if you limit yourself, you'll be stuck there. But now it's you have to design your own stuff. You know, you have to push out original ideas because nobody wants to see people with the same cross or the same little bulldog or anchor. You know, everybody wants to get their own ideas out, and so that's changed completely.
So you'd say like it's a pretty relaxed place here?
Yeah, I would say so. We got an arcade.
That's actually super fun.
Although it can get competitive, so maybe it
Little
messes with the relaxation levels here.
I don't know if you have an answer for this, but do you feel like the tattoo culture in Chicago is significantly different than elsewhere?
I think everywhere has their style, absolutely. So if you go out like West Coast, anything like the LA area, tend to do a lot of like lowrider, black and gray, lettering, super soft wash type art, you know, where it's not very much color and it's very like cholo art, you know, and the stuff looks beautiful, you know, especially because like out in the West Coast where they get a lot of sun, it tends to beat up the color a lot. And so some of the colors tend to fade sooner. So like, 10 years or so, some of your oranges might fall out and some of your purples will still be there. So they tend to limit the color on the West Coast and just kind of stick to the black and gray because as long as you get the gradients down, it'll look fine for years, you know? Mm-hmm. But like more on the East Coast, you'll get a lot of more new school, bright color type stuff.
Yeah.
And
fire truck run by.
and so and so there's definitely a change in the way the tattoos are from coast to coast. Absolutely. You got to seek out an artist and check out all the stuff.
I know I'm looking pretty bare.
Or go to an expo and see the vast
take a walk.
variety.
What's your favorite part about the culture?
I just love like the connections that you make with people, like the stuff that we talk about. I've never been much of a people person, but one-on-one, I really enjoy getting to know people, and that's probably my favorite part of it.
Yeah, and it's like a very vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
thing to get tattooed by someone.
Yeah.
Because it's like very, like, you have to trust the person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally feel that. But do you think like toxic masculinity is a big part of tattoo culture in general, or is it just shop culture?
Probably tattoo culture in general.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially men that have a lot of tattoos or men that are tattoo artists, it's seen as this like, kind of like a symbol of like toughness, and it always has been. So I think that there's just like a certain attitude of like toughness or hardness that you see in a lot of men in general, but especially with tattoo culture. Yeah.
Yeah, which is so like, it's so odd because we were talking about it being like such a vulnerable thing, but also people associate with toughness. It's just a very like strange juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Have you felt, or how's the word to say it? Like, have you ever been? I know it's 2017, the culture's different. Everyone's starting to accept everything now. I mean, I know there's some differences, but everything's starting to get accepted. Have you ever been judged from your tattoos, or like do people assume stuff?
No, I don't think
Or ever
so.
been?
I haven't gotten any of that yet. But I'm in an art studio all day. And
Right.
So maybe I get some looks when I'm out on the street, but I've never experienced any type of discriminatory behavior because of my tattoos or anything like that. So everything's been fine.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you see any discriminatory things like within the tattoo places, parlors?
No, I don't think so. I think when you're with the tattoo community, whether it's at expos or in the shop, everybody pretty much loves the stuff and is accepting and welcoming, you know. And when you go to the shows, it's even more so, you know. You see people with their eyes blacked out, you know. They're so like much like tattooing. I don't know how they do it, but they get their eyes blacked out, and then that's permanent too. So you have these guys walking around with like silicone horns in their head, completely covered in tattoos, blacked out eyes, split tongues, big old holes, and everybody's just fine, hanging out, drinking beers, eating,
Right.
you know,
Like that one
any
guy-
other group of people.
Like that one guy in the Guinness Book of Records, he was like, he wanted his whole tattoo like to be look like a lepra or something. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that. But that was fun, getting all that done.
I bet it must have hurt.
I'm really concerned about the eye thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it done, but I've seen people with it.
And it sounds like your like tattooing space is kind of like a safe space for people who like wouldn't, like you said, wouldn't want to go somewhere else. And that's really not something that most people think about when it comes to tattoo culture. Is like the danger of getting tattooed if you have like a body that isn't like you know, like the usual cis body.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
would you be like able to talk a little bit about like safe spaces and like what they provide to people? Like,
Yeah,
Or like people who want to go to a shop.
I can think of specific examples, especially with trans people. One example was a trans guy that came in and he wanted a tattoo right here. And he usually would wear a binder, and he didn't want to have to explain that to a tattoo artist, you know, why he was wearing a binder, or actually I think he might have been wearing a sports bra just for the tattoo. But he could come to me and take his shirt off and feel completely comfortable and not feel judged, or feel like he wasn't safe, or couldn't just be himself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I'm really glad that you brought that up also, because like I'm queer obviously, but I'm also cis. So like going to a shop, I was thinking about like what if I did want to get like a lesbian themed tattoo?
Yeah.
Like would my artist that I usually go to be okay with it? Or would he be like, that's weird, like I don't want to do that? So it's definitely like a huge difference in like who you're talking to and like what kind of space you're. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you talked about that.
Has there any been artwork that people come in, or like a tattoo idea where you're like, why would you get that like in your head? Like, I know some work could be like really amazing, you know, good work, but then are there some like, why?
The oh my god.
The oh my god type of things.
Sometimes you'll get those, but you gotta just do it.
Yeah,
You can't like
you can't complain.
you can't trip somebody on their path. You know,
No.
you just gotta help them. It's like
It's a non-judgmental.
yeah, exactly. I've seen some pretty extreme tattoos, so why am I gonna stop somebody from getting a ridiculous thing on their face or neck or something? So, all right, man, sit down. It's your life.